Hey there and welcome back. This is going to be about the completion guide, meaning everything you need to buy that didn't come with the with the Sonic High Wing ARF. But I'm gonna start with a little bit of tea. My throat's kind of sore today. Okay. So for a radio, I own two. Actually, I own more than that, but my two major radios are a Spectrum DX7 and a Spectrum DX9. And the Spectrum DX7, DX9 are very good radios, well worth it. Either one I highly recommend. Even the DX6 I highly recommend. I used to own one of those. And I have a DX6i as well, which I use as a buddy box most of the time. And because this is a trainer type aircraft, I'm going to use my DX7, and I have in the case that I carry this with is a DX6i for the buddy box. So that'll be the radio. Because I use that radio, I'm going to use the Spectrum AR610 receiver, 6-channel, with a satellite antenna. I always like to use a satellite antenna when I'm flying a Nitro powered airplane. And what I think is absolutely essential is the telemetry module, TM1000, which will tell me the voltage of the receiver battery. It'll tell me other things if I want, like the temperature of the cylinder head, but I don't find that too important unless the engine is inside a cowl. So there'll be a TM1000 telemetry module, and in order to read the voltage, I buy this Spectrum sensor wire, voltage sensor wire, where one end plugs into the receiver, the other end plugs into the battery. And because we don't have a gear, that'll be in the gear channel, because the TM1000 will be plugged into the first channel, the bind data channel. So those are the Spectrum items. I'm going to use a Thunder Tiger GP28. So it's a Thunder Tiger number 9028 GP28 engine, 0.28 engine. I've used a Thunder Tiger 36 before for an airplane, and it's worked well for a pretty long time. It's got probably 8 years on it, and I like Thunder Tigers. You're also going to need to extend from the receiver. You need some servo extension wires. I'll use the 9-inch extension wires because the wings will be on a separate channel. They won't be on a Y connector. So I've got two of those. One for the aileron and one for the aux1 channel, and so those two aileron servos will be on separate channels, and so these will be plugged into those two. These 9-inch servo extensions will be plugged into those two channels on the receiver, and just in case the servo wires, aileron servo wires aren't long enough, I've got a couple of extra 6-inch extensions in case they don't reach wherever the receiver is going to be. Okay. I'm going to be using high-tech servos. These are the I consider very good quality, but still inexpensive. They're about, I don't know, around $8 or so. And so I've got 5 of those. 2 ailerons, elevator, rudder, and throttle. So there's 5 HS311 servos. For this airplane, that they have plenty of torque. You're going to need some extra line. So I've got some blue silicone tubing, standard size. 2 feet of that and 2 feet of orange. You don't need all 2 feet of either of those. I've got some extra spare pieces from previous builds that I'm see if I have enough of those. Rather than use the 90-degree bend I don't like 90-degree bends. If I bend anything, it's going to be a Z bend. But like for the ailerons, I'm probably going to use these push rod quick connects for the ailerons at least, and we'll see if I use them for any of the others. So I got a package of those. They're great planes. They're pretty cheap. For the props, I bought a 10.6 and a 10.7, and we'll check those out. I also have extra props, spares of these, and spares of an 11.6 if I decide an 11.6 is enough. But I think the 10.7 prop is probably going to work the best, and I don't know which one I'll start with. I'll decide that later. Battery I'm going to use, I always use a 5-cell battery. There's 5 servos. They'll draw some current. So I use the 2000 milliamp hour Hydromax Ultra from Hobbyco. Get it from Tower Hobbies, 5 cells, and works very well. You also need a switch. There's no opening in the side of the fuselage to put the switch. You have to cut one in. This is a Spectrum switch. If you watch my last video, I was doing the SIG Cadet Senior, and I made up this switch and then decided I wanted to use a different switch because of the location, and so this is the Spectrum 3-wire switch harness. And the other thing you ought to have is a overflow tank. This overflow tank, as you can see, probably still has some overflow in it. I used it over the weekend. So when you're adding fuel to the tank, you put this in the orange line that goes to the muffler. By the way, the orange line goes to the muffler, the blue line goes to the carburetor. So you pull the orange line off the muffler, put this on. When you're filling it up, I hand crank it. The overflow tank makes sure it doesn't just spill out all over the place. It's expensive stuff, you know. Fuel is rather expensive. So to finish off the completion guide, I like to show how I package it all together. The stuff that came with the airplane and the stuff that came with the completion guide. So the wing is got the wing bolts and the wing tube and the little wooden piece to mount on the wing. No change there. The gear, that should be all complete, including the nose wheel. Well, no, the nose wheel will probably need a may need an extra quick connect on it. We'll see. Okay, so those are the same. The engine mount, I've added 4 bolts to bolt the engine onto the engine mount, and they're 4-40, 1 inch long, has a nylon nut plus a lock washer and a flat washer. 4 of those, and that'll hold the engine quite nicely. On the throttle servo, and then also included is a quick connect for the throttle. Servo arm. The rudder has the servo, and it needs 2 quick connects, one for the rudder and one for the nose gear. So that's with the throttle. The elevator, besides the servo and the horns and all, I've added 1 quick connect for the, for the elevator I won't use a quick connect. I will use a Z-bend. The elevator is the only supercritical control surface in the airplane. If you lose the throttle, guess what? You dead stick it when it runs out of gas or something. Rudder, you don't need a rudder. You can turn it with the ailerons. Ailerons quit. If one aileron quits, you turn it with the other one. Both ailerons quit, you got a rudder to turn it. So the only critical component is the elevator, and so I won't use a quick connect on that. I'll use a Z-bend. But that's the parts for the elevator. So the ailerons, there's 2 ailerons, so there's 2 quick connects in there, and 2 sets of servos. For the prop and spinner, the prop and spinner go together, so I know where that is. For the fuel tank, I've added the blue and the orange fuel line. And I have one bag with all the electronic components, the battery, telemetry, and all of that. And I still have my bag of spare parts if I need it. So that's how I package it all together. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.